Have you ever been in an online meeting and all you can see is someone's forehead? Or they seem to be gazing off into the corner of the room? Or their face is so close that you can practically count their pores? Here's the thing. Many business professionals want to make a great impression to their colleagues, their clients, their key stakeholders, but they completely forget about how they come across online. Just because you're not in the same room as others doesn't mean they can't see you. In this video, I'm going to share 4 mottainai moments that happen in online meetings and presentations every single day. Moments that could be costing your credibility, confidence, and the trust of the very people you want to impress. And if, like many of my clients, English isn't your first language, this has nothing to do with language skills. Eigo no mondai de wa arimasen. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how one tweak to your camera angle immediately changes how confident you look. Why the most powerful thing you can do on a video call has nothing to do with what you say. The built-in tool that's so easy to use when you're presenting slides but is actually so bad for your audience, and what to do with your hands when speaking online. When you make small changes to these 4 mottainai moments, you'll immediately look and feel more confident. I see this in my clients every time they use them. So if you're someone who shows up on video with your colleagues, clients, or giving presentations and you want to make a good impression, this is for you. Before I get into the details, I've put together a free guide of 25 questions for more productive meetings to help you show leadership, save time, and get results simply by asking questions that matter. Nihongo de no kaisetsu mo arimasu, and if you want it, simply click the link below. I'm Helen Iwata, a bilingual Brit with a 35-year global business career in Japan. I help business professionals to communicate confidently and lead with less effort and more impact. Before we get into those 4 mottainai moments, I want to share something that may completely change how you think about online meetings. As babies, we spend a chunk of time in someone's arms, gazing up at a face. And that face meant to us connection, safety, and love. Our brains are wired to seek out faces and to read them, decide whether we can trust them and are willing to be influenced by them. As humans, we see faces everywhere, even imaginary ones, because our brains are scanning for faces all the time. And there's a term for this. It's called face pareidolia. Here's an example I found in my kitchen, and I'm curious, how do you read this expression? When I show this in workshops, a lot of people say it looks like it's screaming, but I think it looks like it's laughing. So when you show up on a video call, your face is the most powerful communication tool that you have, not your words. And if it's positioned awkwardly or your expression is unreadable, people notice that, sometimes consciously, and certainly subconsciously. Nonverbal communication is especially noticeable online because all the focus is on that little rectangle. And if you're not using your nonverbal communication effectively, that is mottainai. It's a waste. So let's talk about those 4 mottainai moments and what to do instead. Let's start with your face. Have you ever considered the ideal position for your face when you're speaking online? You want your head to be roughly in the middle of the frame with some space above and with your shoulders showing. Why shoulders? Because people subconsciously read your posture when they see your shoulders. Do you look confident? If they can only see your face, they're missing part of the picture. And think about it, when you're speaking with someone normally in person, you can see the neck and the shoulders. You're not just seeing this floating head. For lighting, you may have heard of ring lights, but for a business call, you don't need anything fancy like that. Do check that people can see your face and read your expression. If you have a window light behind you, you can appear as a silhouette, and that can look a little bit creepy. So make sure that you have a light source in front of you. Okay, so the first one was your face. Are you ready for the next one? You've probably heard about the importance of eye contact, and there are differences in the appropriate level of eye contact depending on the culture. When I first came to Japan and I was delivering presentation skills workshops, I used to ask the participants, did they want more or less eye contact from the presenter? And in almost every case, they wanted more eye contact from the presenter. In just a few cases, the person in the audience might have been a little bit shy, preferred not to have so much eye contact. So in that case, it's easy for the presenter to just give more eye contact to the other people in the room. In global business, eye contact is a sign of confidence that leads to connection, credibility, respect, and trust. When we're speaking online, we naturally want to look at the screen and see the other people's faces. But when we do that, depending on where the camera is on your device, it looks like you're looking down or you're looking to the side, and then you lose the connection with your audience. The solution: look directly into the camera, not at the screen. This is especially the case when you want to make an important point or you really want to connect. It's fine to look at the screen from time to time when you want to check other people's nonverbal communication or you want to check your slides, but as much as possible, look directly into the camera. Almost every time I tell this to my clients, they say they feel awkward and they think it's just them. It's absolutely normal because it's something that we're not used to. We're not used to talking to a little green dot, so it feels uncomfortable. I also advise my clients, if it's helpful, to put a little sticky note with a smiley face next to the camera on their device. It sounds simple and it works. You also want to make sure that the camera is positioned at your eye level so that you're not looking down at your audience. That's going to make them feel uncomfortable, and you're also not looking up to them, which makes you look weak. If you're using a laptop, you can stack it on some boxes or some books. And when I'm working from home, quite often I will use my ironing board. Now that we've talked through these first two mottainai moments, you're probably starting to recognize just how much our brains evolved for face-to-face connection and communication. Video calls are a workaround, and we have to be more intentional about how we show up. You might be thinking, wouldn't it be great if there's a technology that could help with this? Well, actually there is. It's called tonari, next door, and that's a great name because it's just like having another room next door. This is made possible by a ceiling to floor display that is life size, and it has a camera so that the eye contact is natural. It's just like you're talking to someone in front of you. And I'll put the link below if you're interested to know more about tonari. I think it's absolutely amazing. Now let's get on to mottainai moment number 3. For 6 years, I served as faculty for Tokyo University's executive management program, teaching presentation skills. And the program director, Yoshinori Yokoyama, who was also a former managing director for McKinsey, had a pet peeve. He said, "Helen, make sure they don't do this." What was it? It was something that some people do in in-person presentations and a lot of people do in online presentations because it's a built-in function. It's the dreaded laser pointer. The presenter knows where the pointer is, the audience, not so much. The red dot whizzing around the screen adds to the cognitive load of the audience, and some people actually say it makes them dizzy. It really doesn't do anything for your credibility, and it can actually harm it. So what do I recommend instead? The laser pointer is great for entertaining cats. Seriously though, design your slides so that they're clear enough for the audience to follow, and then guide them with your words, not that crazy whizzing dot. Simple, clear directions, and your audience knows exactly where to look without the eye strain. Your voice is a far more reliable pointer than that wobbly red dot. Okay, ready for the final one? Now, have you ever thought about what to do with your hands? You might think it doesn't matter, your audience can't see your hands when you're online. But you can use your hands to your advantage. As I mentioned in the first video in this series, from primitive times, our brains were wired to pay attention to movement in the environment because that could be a sign of danger. On screen, you don't need to show all of your hands, but if there's some visible movement from time to time, even if it's subtle, that helps to keep your audience engaged. You can adjust the amount of gesturing depending on the audience and the amount of energy you want to bring. If you have, for example, a senior Japanese audience, you might have a little bit less gesturing. But if you have a really lively team call with a young group of people, you might have more energy and more gestures. But no movement at all, just a still talking head. That's really difficult for your audience to stay engaged and focused. And if people aren't engaged and can't focus, they're not going to be impressed. So your 4 mottainai moments and what to do instead. Check where your face is on the screen, in the middle, shoulders showing. Look into the camera at eye level, especially when making an important point. And post-it notes, smiley faces really help. Guide your audience with clear slides and clear words. Save the laser pointer for the cat. Use your hands. Movement helps people stay engaged, especially on screen. None of these takes extra time or money, just awareness and a willingness to give it a go. I'd love to know which of these 4 techniques are you going to test out first. Let me know in the comments. And if you have questions at any point, ask them there too. And if you think you might want to come back to this video, did you know that there's a save function just down below? If you can't see that save icon, you might need to click on the 3 dots for it to come up. And to make even more of your online meetings, remember to get that free resource down below, 25 questions for more productive meetings. It's in English and Japanese, and it'll help you lead and participate more effectively in meetings. I'm so glad that you're still with me because I'm doing my best to create videos that are valuable for you. And if today's video was useful for you, please do give it a like if you can, and think of one colleague or friend who might also find this useful. Send the link and brighten their day. This video is part of a 5-part series celebrating the 10th anniversary of my book, Eigo no Shigoto Jutsu, published with Shogakkan in 2016. Each video features one of the 5 core communication skills for global business that are covered in the book. If you missed the earlier videos, you'll find listening and questioning here and presentation skills here. And you might want to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss the next videos, which are meeting facilitation and dealing with workplace conflict. 最後まで見てくださってありがとうございました. Until next time, make it a brilliant and joyful day.